This is one of the best priced LEGO Star Wars sets of 2025 so far. This is of course the Rebel Uwing Starfighter set 75399, marketed for 8+ with 594 pieces and retails for £60. This set has 4 minifigures, more on those in a moment. And I have to say, I really enjoy building this one. It's probably one of my most enjoyed sets in a long time, in terms of actually building experience, but I haven't actually built any of my other sets. In my May 4th haul, I made a video of that on my TikTok. I might upload it to YouTube now. Definitely go check that out though, because I do show all these sets that I got in my May 4th haul, and this is one of these sets included. The box art is absolutely immaculate to me. We do use the striped box art, which LEGO Star Wars has been using for the last 4 or 5 years now. The bottom right, we get a look at our minifigures like in all UCS, just regular LEGO sets. The bottom left corner is the exact same as what we saw in 2022 with our first Andor Season 1 set, except instead of the Season 1 Andor minifigure, it is the Season 2 Andor minifigure that we do get in this set. I love the actual box art, though we do get a decent render of the actual set with an explosion in the top right, and I'm not sure what planets these are, but it looks absolutely amazing. On the side, we just get another render of the U-Wing, and the back box art is pretty good, but it's nowhere near as good as the front. But we do get a look at our play features and the minifigures more detailed, and we do get another quite unique render of the box. So let's go into the build of the Rebel U-Wing Starfighter. So to begin, this set has 6 numbered bags, a small sticker sheet, and again 4 minifigures. And I don't know what it was about this set, but opening it and tipping out all the bags was an absolute pain. Obviously that's not going to be the same in every set, but for some reason it took me absolutely ages to get the last bag out. I'm pretty sure it was bag 6 that it took me ages to get out. It's pretty funny actually though, just look at the clip. I don't know why it took that long. It's really funny to be honest. Obviously it didn't take away from the actual experience, I just thought it was something notable to share. The first minifigure we get in the set is the ISB Tactical Agent. It's a very nice minifigure with very unique prints. There are no really flaws in this minifigure. Again, it's very unique. You do get a riot shield and a small blaster in this minifigure. He uses a pretty basic head that we've seen in many other stormtroopers and officers, and I do quite like his little cap that's included. But yeah, this is a pretty nice minifigure, but I feel like a U-Wing pilot would have been more appropriate compared to the ISB Tactical Agent, or maybe just both and got 5 minifigures instead, but 4 minifigures for £70 set, £60 set is not too bad. Next minifigure in is Andor, and if you've not got a Andor minifigure already, it's definitely a decent set to get it in. I actually haven't got Andor myself, so this is my first Andor minifigure, and it does not disappoint. You do get leg printing, which is nice. You get a small but weird blaster. I don't know where you got this one. I don't know why we didn't just get a regular one, but I'm not complaining. He has a pretty basic hairpiece that for some reason I got 2 of. His face mold is pretty generic, but he does have a dual-sided face. One with a smile and the other with a stern look. But yeah, Andor is definitely a good one to add to the collection. Finally, Dedra is definitely the standout minifigure. Well, not finally, we have K2SO in a moment, but Dedra is definitely the standout minifigure. She has a great dual-molded cap piece. Her torso print is absolutely amazing. I do like how you can see the entire collar, despite it being quite oversized. You get her belt as well. She comes with a small blaster. She also has a flip-sided face. One side is like pretty angry, and the other is quite a stern look. But the main problem arises on the legs. There's no reason for that printing to be so faded. Just add 2 layers of print, and that will completely get rid of the problem. But again, it's just lazy from LEGO, because it could have been dual-molded legs as well. Dual-molded legs would have made this minifigure absolutely perfect, and a contender for minifigure of the year. She isn't the most, interesting minifigure or desirable minifigure, but it's one that could have been done so much better, and it's still one that's pretty interesting nonetheless. And will be a nice addition to my Imperial Army. Actual final minifigure here is K2SO. He's a very nice minifigure with decent prints, but the 2016 one is a lot better, because we do get some more prints on the left side of the head, which I feel were missing from this minifigure. I like the side arm printing, and overall this is a pretty good minifigure. And he does just come with a regular medium-sized blaster. But K2SO is definitely a must-have for any Star Wars fan, especially if you like Rogue One and Andor show. And he probably is another standout in this set, as he is much more desirable than Dedra, although I do think Dedra is a better minifigure. The U-Wing build is significantly smaller than the old one, but I have to say I do absolutely love it. The engines are a little bit oversized, but they are very aesthetically pleasing. They look really good, although they are a bit blocky in some places, and they don't really have much detail compared to some sets such as the midi-scale Acclimator. I thought those engines looked absolutely fantastic. I would have loved to see some more details such as the ones in that set captured in this engine here, because it just kind of gets a bit repetitive because you have these same 3 bricks, and it's just kind of boring. But it doesn't look bad. I just feel like there's more detail that could have been added. They were fun to build, but it was a pain having to build 4 of them, and I flipped the page thinking, oh god, if I get another ×2, ×4 now, I'm going to be so annoyed, and then the next page I see ×4, and then another ×4. It did get a bit tedious, but it was still quite a fun build. The main flaw with the build is actually that the prints on the top of the windscreen don't match the white on the actual ship. This is a problem we've had for years with LEGO, and exactly the same solution as with the Dedra minifigure, just print a second layer of printing to ensure that it's fully white and matches the actual LEGO. As for the actual stickers, I don't see why they don't just do a transparent sticker with the yellow piece here. This is definitely the best example of it in this set, but the white on the sticker doesn't match the white on this set, and it is kind of annoying. And the solution for this is just go with a transparent sticker with the white layer on the top. Sorry, the yellow layer on the top, so that it actually matches the white of the set, so that you don't even notice it's there. Or just print the piece and we just won't have that problem. The cockpit functionality is quite nice, actually. If you push on this little lever back here, one sec, that pops up the cockpit, kind of like the back of a car. And then it makes it much easier to open, and we have a stickered control panel here, which is very nice. And we have space for Cassian Andor. He fits in there quite nicely with a lot of wiggle room, but he is just lying down, so it's just kind of annoying. And that's one problem of the shrinkflation of recent LEGO Star Wars history. Let me just show you this cockpit functionality again. It's kind of pointless because it is just easy to open by itself, but at the same time you have to hold it up here, so it is a bit harder to open manually. So I do see why they add it, and it makes sense because it is kind of tucked down there a little bit. So yeah, I like the addition. By the way, it is up to you what minifigure you put in your cockpit, but I actually quite like the look of K2SO in there. At the front of the main body, we get 2 cannons with a spring-loaded missile in the middle. I have lost track of those, I don't know where they went, but you do get 3 red ones in the set. And we all know how spring-loaded shooters work, you fire them and they go quite far. Except in this set, it's when you push down on this little lever here. And when the spring-loaded shooters aren't in this set, it stays down like this. So I actually do prefer how it looks, because then it's just one continuous length. Whereas when the spring-loaded shooters are in, it's up like that, so it's a kind of an awkward step. There are 2 more main play features of this set, starting with the actual interior. So this is accessible by just flipping this down. It's kind of difficult from this angle that I am in right now, but I can ignore that. But there is a sort of sizable interior. It's only like 2x8, so it's really not that big, and you don't have much room to work with. And again, you can probably only fit the 1 minifigure. I'm probably going to make a short on how to make it bigger, so you can fit more than 1 minifigure, maybe a couple droids as well, and maybe even some cargo. You can only fit the 1 minifigure in there as of the base set, though. There is also a printed control panel somewhere on the left of the interior. And also, the minifigure does fit in there kind of awkwardly, though, because he does have to be kind of lying down. There is also a bit of cargo down there, though, so it's a pretty nice interior for how big it is, but the door function is actually kind of inaccurate because it just goes down when it should slide to the left. By the way, I do really like the shaping down here. I think that's really unique, and I really like the techniques used, and that's my favourite part of the build, to be honest. It's really fun building the set up, and from this angle, it's pretty nice. By the way, both doors can open on both sides, so you can just see straight through, so that's pretty nice. The interior is definitely underwhelming, but I do quite like the design of the doors, but I do wish it could have been a bit bigger. Or even smaller, because then the pilot up top would not be lying down. I just feel like they had to compromise a lot of things to actually make the interior what it is, and then even then, the interior is absolutely tiny. I do really like the design of the doors, though. These were really fun to build. Quickly before I show the main play feature, this set is really swooshable. It's actually pretty fun to play around with, and a kid would definitely really enjoy it if their age is 8 or above. Not really, of course, any age. But yeah, I had a lot of fun just swooshing this thing around. It's not very heavy at all, so it is very easy to just fly around. And it may be even more fun when I show you this play feature right now. So the main play feature comes with these 2 wings here, and if you pull out on them and then turn it around, and then there is another clip here, ballpoint pin, so that it clips in there, so that it goes at this very unique angle, and it's the same on both sides, and it looks amazing. I think it looks better in the U formation, but this Y sort of pattern, it looks really cool. But at the same time, it is kind of awkward because this is just an entire rectangle now. So I'm not so keen on that, but if you want to display it like that, you can. But it would take a lot more space on a shelf. But again, swooshing this thing around like this would be a lot more fun than in the U formation. It's a super fun play feature, and I actually have a lot of fun just switching it around between the U and this, whatever this is called. And you can change it back pretty simply just by unhooking these ball joints and then putting it back into that U formation. £60 is absolutely amazing value for this set in 2025. Especially considering, adjusted to inflation, the one from 2016 is about £95 to £100, I'm not too sure. So considering this one's £30 to £35 less, it definitely makes a lot of sense. And 4 minifigures in a £60 set is very fair as well. Although I would have liked a Uwing pilot, that would have made it a 10 out of 10 for me. What would have made it a 10 out of 10 actually though is if the stickers were good, Dedra had good legs, and the doors slid across instead. And Andor didn't have to lie down in the cockpit position. This set does have a lot of flaws, but it has no right to be £60. I cannot stress this enough. This is one of the best valued sets in 2025. And this is a must-have for any Star Wars collector, in my opinion. It's a fantastic build with fairly desirable minifigures, and that's why I'm going to give it a 9.2 out of 10. Anyway, let me think of this set, and thanks for watching. Bye.